There's been a lot of talk about Tyrese Maxey not being aggressive to start games. He's averaging by far his lowest point total in the first quarter, which is about 3.4 points a game. The other 3 quarters, he's averaging 7.7 points per quarter. Last night, he exploded for 20 points in the first half of the game, and he told Coach Nurse that he wanted/needed to be more aggressive to open the game. And Nurse's response to that was, "Shit, I only tell you that every day." So what are your guys' thoughts on Tyrese Maxey's slow starts to open games? What do you think why do you think that's happening?
I mean, in my opinion, it's tough to do. I mean, we say we want him to be a point guard and lead guard and involve other players and get people involved. If you come out and you're getting yours, and then all of a sudden, we know Joel's going to get his, and now what Joel's doing, then you got pretty much 2 people taking all the shots. So I believe where his slow start, I don't really necessarily believe them. I don't really think they're slow starts. Slow starts to me is not making shots. His has been more of not as aggressive. But if the aggressiveness comes and he maintains it through the game, I think the aggressiveness comes with him situational, especially in the fourth quarter, and I think closing quarters. But I personally have no issue with his start. I think that he needs to notice how things are going. If we're having a slow start and Joel don't have it going, or Tobias, we aren't getting any points from anywhere else, then you're like, all right, well, let me kind of pick it up and kind of start attacking. So to me, it's more of a feel for how the game is going, and kind of fill it out and see that, okay, maybe I need to be more aggressive. And that's part of his growth. I mean, you have to always remember, I mean, he's a young guy from NBA terms.
Yeah.
So I would say I would look more that way instead of just saying him come out and he just needs to be the same aggressive guy and go score all the baskets been getting game. I mean, I do like his energy level is different. I think that beginning of the game fit more of a mold when James was here than now. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's a great outlook on it, right? You're pretty much saying, like, I think he knows his game so well. He knows he can just, because a buddy of ours we talked to a lot, he's watched a lot more Philadelphia games this year, and he even said, like, sometimes I look at the box score and I can't believe Maxey has as many points as he does. And I was like, it's because he scores such a high volume in such a short amount of time. Like he'll have like 13 in like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden his point total went from like 13 to 26, and you're like, whoa, I didn't even realize he had 26 points. So I think he knows that about himself. So he's like, you know what? Let me try to get other people involved first. And then I know at any given moment, I'm shake that Coke bottle up and open that cap and watch it spray out. So that's a really good outlook on it. It's interesting too, because if you look at his third quarter was his second lowest scoring. I think that one's at five something. And then the other ones are like 8 and 9. So it comes out of each half a slower starter. It doesn't worry me at all, though. I'm like you said too. He's not only young; it's a brand new role, full-time role for him. Having Harden on the team for the last year and a half, it really kept Maxey from having to be in the position to get other people involved while getting himself warmed up. It's hard, man. It's a hard thing to do. You know that, obviously. You're the initial source for offense for you and for others, right? And you have another guy who you got to feed. So it's not just Maxey on a team with a lot of good shooters. You just got to like distribute him as he gets doubled and they hit shots. You have a guy who wants the ball a lot. So you have to make sure he gets his. You have to make sure guys stay engaged. And you also have to not be passive. So that's a lot to take on for a first time. I mean, he's doing it beautifully.
It's a huge responsibility.
Oh, man.
So that's why I said I have no issue with him doing that. Like that. That's not an issue for me at all.
It's like it's like a quarterback who's really good at running too, but he also has like a bona fide stud number one receiver. He's like, I have to keep him in it. I have a good tight end. I have another good number two receiver, but I also need to call my own number when it's time to run and just take off too. So it's like it's a balance there you have to do. It's not like it's not working. I mean, what are we complaining about? Him not scoring 9 points a quarter? I
just don't get it. I mean, when you see what he's doing, like to be honest with you, when Marcus put this down as a topic, like I didn't look at the games and watch the games and feel that.
Yeah,
I really didn't.
Yeah,
that was an issue. That's something that I would pick. Like that would be. I wouldn't like. I think Maxey's doing well.
Yeah, I think he is too. It's become a topic online because I think he's so good on other quarters. It's like, wait a minute, I noticed you don't do a lot. You don't do as much in the first quarter, but I mean, his overall output's incredible. He's not like.
I mean, I think that's a reach. I wouldn't have that as a concern. It's not a concern of mine.
Yeah.
You know, and like I said, I think it's situations or games where it may be different. But yeah, I think that's a reach to complain about that, in my opinion.
Yeah, and the back and forth between him and Nurse is interesting too, because it's like, well, I tell him that every day. You tell him just to be aggressive overall, or you tell him to be aggressive to start games, because those are two different things, right? Like he is an aggressive scorer. He is all game from start to finish. I mean, I don't know if you want a guy to do that every single minute, every single game, right?
Yeah, I mean, some guys you kind of tell them to be aggressive. Like I've always told you, like being aggressive isn't always just scoring. So some of the aggression you could just be aggressive in making plays, aggressive in picking up defensively. So it's not always scoring, but in this particular situation, when we think of Maxey, everyone thinks it's about scoring. Mm-hmm. So it could be something else. In my opinion, if it's just about him scoring and getting baskets, I don't particularly agree with that.
Yeah.
Eric, let me ask you a quick question about Maxey while we're just talking about his aggressiveness. Obviously, you're a great defender. How would you guard Maxey? Do you ever watch him and be like, I would make him do this? I would try this on him? How would you approach him?
I would limit his right-hand drives as much as possible.
Yeah, yep.
I know he likes to shoot going left. I would trap him more. And so I would, try to make him catch the ball out a little further and limit his catches on the run, because he likes to catch on the go and use his speed to get separation.
Yeah.
So doing things to break up his speed, break up his rhythm. Whether you step in front of him, make him go backdoor some, top lock him a little bit. But when doing that stuff, you got to be locked in on your help defense as well. So it's not just that one person. That one person can do things, but it has to be a system that's in that everyone else is understanding what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah. Let's not show anyone this stuff.
So yeah, I would send him away. A lot of the times when we hand off and he comes and get it, like I would start sending him away or start trapping him a lot. A lot of people won't trap him because he's coming off Joel a lot. So I would send him away. I would send him and make Joel and all those guys throw some more backdoor passes. Just make backdoor passes.
I noticed on some of those handoffs, Cleveland, some of their longer big men like Mobley, who can move, and Allen's pretty mobile too. They were trying to make him. They were chasing him out almost to like the half court line. They were like, you know what? Start from scratch again. Go out there. Yeah, and they were pulling back.
The aggressive trap where you just go and we just gonna go, and then, but they also the ability that Cleveland has, so they can do that because then they're rotating another big to Joel, where most teams aren't.
Yes, it's true.
So yeah, you trap them, get it out. Now you play them 1-on-1. They got pick a road, and you can kind of do it the same thing. And now you got them playing against the clock. You kind of mix it up, and you'll see a lot more of that in the playoffs. You'll see a lot more of that in the playoffs, and that's when we were talking about a while ago. We were talking about Philly's offense and how creative and everything was. But if you watch since that point, all we're doing is picking rolls and handoffs.
Yeah.
That's basically all we do.
Bread and butter, baby.
But that's what I said. Like every team pretty much does all this action to come back to the same thing. Get your best players to basketball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. The other stuff just breaks the habit a little bit.
Gets them to make a mistake beforehand.
Yep. It's all window dressing until you go back to the same old thing.
Yes.